was in paradise, but I'd never felt more alone. The man who promised me the world was suddenly a total stranger. I was slowly realizing that this dream vacation was actually a nightmare that he constructed just for me. Just a few weeks before, he was telling me he loved me and that I was his everything. But the second we landed in Hawaii, something changed. He was cold, critical, and it felt like he was putting on a show for someone who wasn't me. This is the story of how I learned he was deliberately blowing up our relationship just to impress another woman. Our story started right in the middle of the pandemic. It was a time of uncertainty and isolation, which made finding a connection even more special. When he came into my life, it really felt like the universe was finally giving me a win. In the beginning, it was just this whirlwind of intensity and affection and passion. He showered me with praise and attention in a way I'd never experienced before. I know now this is called love bombing. It's a manipulative tactic to create a powerful emotional bond fast. But at the time, it felt just like a fairy tale. He'd say things to me like, "You're not just my girlfriend, you're family. And my home is your home." He pulled me into his life so fast and so completely that any tiny doubt I might have had was just washed away by just how much affection he showered me with. He was basically building a foundation of emotional dependency, making me crave his approval and attention. During this idealization phase, an abuser studies you. They learn your weak spots and your dreams so that they can create this perfect picture of how they'll treat you, a picture they can use to control you later on. He made me feel like I was the most important person in the world, and I fell for it completely. The peak of this perfect romance is when he invited me to join his family on a Hawaiian vacation. It felt like this ultimate confirmation that our future was real and that I actually belonged. I was so excited. I was busy planning, dreaming about our first big trip together. I had no idea that this dream was about to turn into a nightmare. That period of the intense idealization is designed to get you hooked emotionally. That way, when things changed, you're left scrambling, desperately trying to get back to how perfect things were in the beginning. The change was subtle at first, and then it was just sudden. In the weeks before Hawaii, the man who'd put me on a pedestal started to tear me down piece by piece. This is the devaluation phase of the abuse cycle, where all that affection gets replaced with criticism, insults, and emotional distance. The constant praise turned into backhanded compliments and straight up insults. He started calling me white trash, a phrase that basically was designed to gut me, to attack my background and my self worth. It's a classic tactic to wear down your self esteem and make you need their approval even more. Then the blame shifting started. That's when someone messes up and they flip it around and make it your fault. Suddenly, every single issue was because of me. If I asked why he was being so distant, I was too sensitive. If I felt insecure about how he was acting, I was the jealous one. He was a master at turning everything around on me, making me feel guilty for the problems he created. For example, I found out he was trying to date another woman right before our trip. When I confronted him, did he apologize? No. He twisted the whole story, saying that my jealousy and sensitivity were the real reasons why he was pulling away. It was the perfect way to dodge any kind of responsibility. And if that wasn't enough, he started gaslighting me. He denied things I knew he'd said, making me question my own memory and my own sanity. This mixture of devaluation, blame shifting, and gaslighting is a powerful cocktail of psychological abuse. It's meant to leave you confused, full of self-doubt, and second-guessing your reality. I felt like I was constantly walking on eggshells, trying to figure out what I did wrong. But I didn't realize it then that it wasn't about me at all. It was about him. He was creating this conflict on purpose, making our relationship so miserable he was too much of a coward to just end it. That's what relationship sabotage is all about, creating chaos so you don't have to have an honest conversation. The second we landed in Hawaii, the disconnection was total. The man who was my everything was now just a stranger in my hotel room. This is what is known as the discard phase of the abuse cycle, and it's often the most devastating part. Sometimes it's a sudden breakup, but in my case, it was a complete emotional withdrawal that felt like punishment. He was there, but he wasn't. He was gone. The silent treatment was his new favorite weapon, a way to make me feel anxious, isolated, and desperate for any sign of his approval. I remember curled up in the shower of this beautiful hotel room and just sobbing uncontrollably. I was in one of the most beautiful places on earth, but I had never felt so alone and so confused. He'd leave me by myself for hours at a time, and when he came back around, all I got were cold, short answers. His actions were designed to make me feel invisible and worthless. It wasn't just that he was ignoring me, it was an act of kind of manipulation. Holding back any affection or conversation, he was punishing me and creating this huge hole that he knew I would do anything to fill. The whole trip felt like a performance, but I couldn't figure out who the audience was. Later, it all made sense. The other woman that he was after was part of his extended circle of friends. The way he was treating me was a signal to her that he was single and that we were over. He ruined our dream vacation, turning it into an emotional trap. He could look like the good guy and force me to end things. He didn't want to be the jerk who dumped his girlfriend right after a big family trip. He decided to make the trip so awful that I would have to be the one to break up with him. That way, he didn't have to take any responsibility and could even play the victim. There I was, spending my nights crying in paradise, trying to understand his cruelty, still thinking it was somehow my fault. It took me a long time to realize his behavior had nothing to do with my worth and everything to do with his cowardice. Have you ever been with a partner who suddenly changed, leaving you questioning yourself and your reality? Man, how did you handle the confusion? What helped you finally see the truth? Let me know in the comments. You are not alone in this. The flight home was silent and heavy. The second we got back, the act was over. The truth didn't hit me all at once like a lightning bolt. It was more like a slow, painful realization. As I started to put all the pieces together, the lies, the insults, the cold shoulder, his interest in that other woman, the pattern was impossible to ignore. He created the entire crisis himself. He wanted out, but was too afraid just to say it. So he turned me into the villain of a story he made up, sabotaging everything just to force me to leave. Seeing that pattern is the first step to getting your power back. I finally understood that what he did was a calculated plan to avoid any responsibility. The cruelty in Hawaii wasn't an accident. It was the grand finale of his sabotage. The breakup was messy, of course. There was more gaslighting, blame shifting, but this time I saw it for what it was. I stopped trying to fix something that he had broken on purpose. I stopped blaming myself for his issues. Ending it all hurt, but the clarity I got was liberating. I had been stuck in that toxic cycle of idealization, devaluation, and discard. A cycle that's designed to leave you confused and drained. Getting out of it was the only way I could start to heal. Looking back, the red flags are so obvious now. I want to share them with you so maybe you can spot them in your own life. That sudden switch from intense love to intense cruelty. If your partner puts you on a pedestal, then out of nowhere starts criticizing, insulting, or ignoring you, that is a huge warning sign of a manipulative cycle. Second, the blame shifting and the gaslighting. Do you constantly feel like you are the problem? Do they make you doubt what you see and hear? If so, you are probably being manipulated. Healthy partners own their mistakes. They don't twist things to make you feel guilty. And third, emotional withdrawal and sabotage. When a partner gets distant, shuts down communication, or seems to be starting fights on purpose, they might be trying to punish you or push you away. Trust your gut. If you feel confused, anxious, or like you're always walking on eggshells, your instincts are screaming at you that something is wrong. Recognizing these tactics is the first most important step. Look for patterns, not excuses. Abusers do this over and over again. Set clear boundaries for how you deserve to be treated. If they react with more blame or by shutting you out, that's your answer. Please talk to your friends, a therapist, or a support group. Isolation is exactly what manipulators want. You are not crazy, you are not too sensitive, and it is not your fault. If this story was helpful to you, please like and subscribe for more on healing from toxic relationships. If you're looking for deeper healing work, including things like Reiki meditations and other spiritually based resources, you can join my Patreon community. The link is in the description. Let's heal together. Remember, you deserve respect, clarity, and love. Spotting these manipulative tactics is the first step towards you taking your power back and building the happier relationships you deserve. You are worthy of a love that feels like a safe place to land, not a storm you constantly have to fight your way through. Thank you again for being here, and until I see you guys at the next one, I'm wishing you peace, love, and all the berries.